Fear is the virus and it's already inside us, but it lies dormant as long as we keep letting love guide us.
This is The Deep Dive with Adam Roa.
What's up, Deep Divers? This is Adam Roa. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Deep Dive podcast. Today is a deep dive musing. It's just you and I, and we are going to dive into the concept of the fear that lives in all of us and how we navigate that. And I'm going to give you a tangible exercise. The real focus today is on a tangible exercise that you can do to help navigate the most loving choice. And this was inspired by a line of poetry from my most recent poem, Pandemic. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It is out on all of, my Facebooks and YouTube and Instagram and all the places. And in this poem, I say, fear is the virus and it's already inside us, but it lies dormant as long as we keep letting love guide us. Fear is the virus and it's already inside us, but it lies dormant as long as we keep letting love guide us. And I want to unpack that lyric today. I thought I was going to unpack some of the lyrics around my new song, Go, which is also out. It's on Spotify. Go listen to it if you haven't yet. But this single line of poetry, when I remember when it dropped in while I was writing it, sometimes you have that line that just comes in and you jump up and down because it encapsulates so much. I call it like the wrapping paper for consciousness. You just got like a awesome candy, gooey, centered, donut filled thing. And there's this line that encapsulates it that I want to unpack today. Before I do that, I just want to read one of these awesome reviews. Thank you, everyone who is leaving reviews. I really appreciate it. It only takes like 30 seconds, and it just means so much to me to hear your words. I do read them, and also because it helps this podcast a lot and continue to spread. And Jay Barship says, insightful, entertaining, and actionable. Adam and his guests provide some incredibly compelling and actionable content for those interested in exploring their own personal and professional evolution and development. Highly recommend listening and subscribing to The Deep Dive if you want the knowledge and mindsets to experience life with a new emotional resilience and reach your overall goals as a result. I swear I didn't pay Jay Barship to say that. Jay, thank you very much for saying that. I really do appreciate it. And today's episode is one of those very actionable steps, because as you've heard me say on this podcast many times before, I believe that choosing love is an art form. I believe that love is not empirical. It is entirely relative to you and the observer and the receiver. And so the best that we can do is work to choose love to the best of our ability in each and every moment. And so when we're unpacking a line of poetry that says fear is the virus and it's already inside us, the reason why this is important is because it seems like in the New Age spiritual communities, there's this idea that fear is bad and we should do everything we can to avoid it, right? Like never make a fear-based decision. Here's the funny thing about that is literally fear is the other side of the coin to a loving decision. So it's also there always. It's a part of us. It's the other side of the coin. And there's this really great Native American proverb where this grandson goes to this elder and his grandfather, and he says, grandfather, what am I to do with these angry feelings and all of this discomfort in my system? And I'm paraphrasing this and probably butchering it, but just let me do my best here. And the grandfather says, grandson, there are two wolves inside each of us. One wolf is this wolf of happiness and joy and love. And the other wolf is the anger and hatred and jealousy. And these wolves are constantly in battle for your soul, essentially. And the grandson says, well, which wolf wins? And the grandfather says, whichever wolf you feed. And so let that sink in. We have it in each of us. We have fear in us. We have shadow in us. And yet it does not mean that our life needs to be a perpetuation of this fear. And that's why fear is the virus and it's already inside us, but it lies dormant as long as we keep letting love guide us. So the real key here is in making the loving choice. as often as possible, if it's two sides of the same coin, in every single moment, we have an opportunity to choose fear. It's there. And this becomes complex. And the reason why there's so much resistance to owning the fact that we have this shadow in us and we have this fear in us is because we idolize the idea of being fearless. What is up, deep divers? Just wanted to take a moment to ask, do you want to learn how to write from the heart? If you learn how to use your writing as a tool for your own healing, your own personal development, your own growth, and as a way of expressing yourself out into the world so that you can create deeper connections, call in more abundance, and help other people feel, because as you know, in order to heal, we get to feel. Well, then I want to let you know about the 90-minute workshop, Write from the Heart. It is an online experience that I led with Lindsay L., who had the #1 album in the country and has been nominated for a CMA, won 2 CCMAs. She is an incredible singer-songwriter, and the two of us paired up to lead this 90-minute workshop. And the replay is now available for you, and you will get a 5-step process on how we turn our emotions into something beautiful like a song. So if that is of interest to you, I encourage you to head to adamroa.com or check out the link in the show notes to get your copy today. We idolize these movies of the fearless hero who goes in against all odds and overcomes just the most scary, awful bad guys. This is the media that we consume. We idolize the role models of musicians that we see cocky on stage, like they don't have any fear. They can just get up and do whatever they want. They can get all the girls or whatever it is that we idolize in these role models. But understand that you can't be brave if you don't feel fear. Inherently in the idea of courage and bravery is fear. You can't have courage if you don't feel fear. And so it's about, we have this fear and yet we choose not to give into it. We choose to feed the love. That wolf inside of us that knows that we are so much more than our fear, that we have the capacity to expand instead of contract. And that is how we make the most loving choice, is in the exploration of what is expansive and what is contractive. So I'm going to take you through a brief exercise. If you are driving your car, pull over for just a couple minutes. Don't be late to work. If you can't, then I recommend coming back to this. But if you have a moment, I just want you to close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Remember that this crazy journey of life begins and ends with your breath. There's nothing more important than your breath. So taking a moment of gratitude and dropping into your body. And as you breathe into this neutral space, I want you to start thinking about the thing that you're most afraid of. The thing that really scares you. Is it failure? Is it losing all your money? Is it a loved one dying? Is it people laughing at you if you don't achieve this goal that you have deep inside? What is that fear that you have? Now, as you breathe, I want you to notice how it feels in your body. Where do you feel it? What's the temperature of it? What is the sensation of it? And just take note of how it feels to really feed that fear for a moment and focus on it. And now real quick, shake it out. Shake it out. Let it go. Come back to a neutral space. Keep your eyes closed. And now, I want you to think about a giant tub of puppies. A giant tub of puppies. You open the door, you walk in, and there are all these puppies that are so happy to see you. And they're climbing all over each other to get to you. They're yipping, and they're so soft, and they have that new puppy smell. And I want you to pay attention to how that feels in your body. the experience of a bunch of puppies, about the unconditional love of these animals who are just so excited to meet you. Notice how that feels. Now, for some of you, it may be reversed, but for the vast majority of you, you're experiencing an expansive state. The experience of these puppies and love, the feeling of love in your body expands. The feeling of your fear contracts. And so in understanding that both of those are available to you in any moment, in any given moment, you can contract or you can expand based on where you put your focus, what you feed your energy towards, which wolf you feed. You now have the ability to navigate life with the compass of love. And that may not always work out perfect. There may be some pain at the end of the road. You might hurt some people. You might get hurt. But you can know deep down that you made the most loving choice you could in each and every moment. That's the best that you can do. That's all that you can do. Thank you for doing that work. Thank you for understanding that fear is a virus that lives in all of us. And as long as you keep letting love guide you, fear does not spread. Love spreads. Thank you. I want to remind you that always, in all ways, you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved.